the best defensive teams in the country, and they really protect the three-point line.
Yeah, they make it really hard. They make you go one-on-one. They're not giving up assists. They're not doing a lot of things that teams do. And what they're doing, Roxy, is they just put all their time on defense. They spent the majority of their shoot-around today on defense.
Starting five for both Brad Brownell, the Tigers, and Kyle Smith and the Cardinal. And as you see for Stanford, a little bit of a change. Benny Giedler came off the bench in the games when they lost on the road to Florida State and Miami. He is in the starting lineup. And then you look at the size that Clemson has across the front with Jake Wallin, R.J. Godfrey, and Carter Welling.
Yeah, I like the move to put Benny Giedler back in the lineup for Stanford because not only is he a senior, but he's a proven shooter that can give you a spark defensively. But these two teams really want to keep their game going to get a big win tonight.
And you look at the guys that are important. We mentioned Ibuka Okori for Stanford. He's one of the best scorers in the country. As Ibuka Okori ranks 10th in the country in scoring.
And then on the other side, now Dylan Hunter's not necessarily a scorer, Ben, but for Brad Brownell, he holds everything together.
Well, he leads his team in a couple of categories. Obviously, he can assist, and he leads his team in minutes plays, as does Ibuka Okori. These two guys need to be on the floor for respective basketball teams.
Clemson wearing their orange, the home whites for the Cardinal. The opening tip controlled by Clemson, and Dylan Hunter has it first for the Tigers. Man-to-man for Stanford. There's Justin Porter way out top. R.J. Godfrey pulls his way inside, steamrolls over. A.J. Rahosi, and an offensive foul called on R.J. Godfrey. And that is a turnover on Clemson. And Godfrey, of course, Stat played 11 years in the NFL.
Yeah,
not saying that influenced that play, but he's not shy of contact.
Now, and when you take a charge, Rahosi's still trying to recover from taking that flush, but that's a really big play for Stanford to step up and take a charge on the initial opening play of the game.
Here's Donovan Young for the Cardinal. A.J. Rahosi down low. And the grad transfer across the key, flip ends up short, and it's pulled down by Carter Welling. And here comes Clemson. And a whistle, and that's against Stanford.
Yeah, make no mistake, early where Clemson wants to direct the basketball. They're trying to go inside. They've been dominant at times this year. When they get the ball and score in the paint, I think they've only lost one game when they've outscored their opponents in the paint.
First on Ibuka Okori. Here is Justin Porter. Mismatch down low if they can get it to Carter Welling for the Tigers. Now Stanford switches back. Shot clock at 10. Welling out top. Step back three from Justin Porter.
A tough shot by Porter. Stanford doing a good job pressuring the ball, but Porter gets a shot as the shot clock dwindles down.
Transfer from Middle Tennessee, 3 years at Middle Tennessee after a couple of JC years. And now in his final season of college basketball, averaging 11 a game for Clemson. Ibuka Okori, 8 to shoot for the Cardinal. Ryan Agarwal answers with a 3.
He does that, Roxy. A couple of guys at Stanford had opportunities, but Agarwal just knocks it down. Pretty calm as a cucumber.
40% on his threes, and we're tied at 3. R.J. Godfrey powers his way inside, and Clemson reclaims the lead.
Now there's that strength inside. Brad Brownell really wants his team to attack the paint as many times as they can, and they are.
Deep 3 from Agarwal. Got it! Second 3 for Ryan Agarwal.
Well, I said calm as a cucumber. How about cool as a cucumber? Either way, he's found his range early, 2 for 2.
First lead for the Cardinal. Here's Jake Wallin. Straight on 3, and the rainbow off from Dylan Hunter. And its last touch by Stanford will stay at this end, and it stays with Clemson.
Yeah, if Ryan Agarwal can get some shots from the perimeter, Roxy, that's going to bode well for Stanford. That's his second look, and he's knocked them both down. He's a confident player. And by the way, who was out here before everybody else today shooting in the gym 2 hours? Ryan Agarwal.
Early sub for the Cardinal, and same for Clemson, is Oscar Hielte, the freshman from Belgium, is in the game. And then for Clemson, our first look tonight at Nick Davidson, the California native. On the drive, getting inside in a quick burst, but it wouldn't go for Justin Porter. And the rebound grab by Donovan Young. And here comes Stanford.
I like Stanford's aggressiveness early. They're really putting pressure on the ball.
Buka Okori. Ryan Agarwal. Three rattles out of the rebound grab by Carter Welling for the Tigers.
That'd been a big-time shot. That thing was down and out.
All the way down and popped out.
Stanford's really putting ball pressure on the perimeter players.
The lob and the finish by Carter Welling.
Just impressed with how Clemson continues to attack the paint. Every possession's had a paint touch. Just about.
Donovan Young. Here's Abuka Okori in the lane. The pull-up, and Abuka Okori's first points of the night.
He'll take what the defense gives him. I mean, he can pull up in the 2-point in the mid-range or knock down the 3, but he's really good at getting that shot in mid-range.
Deflected out by Oscar Hielte. No, it's off of Nick Davidson, and it belongs to Stanford. Kyle Smith's team has made 2 of their first 3 from distance. And a 1-point lead for the Cardinal.
Roxy, take a look at what we've been seeing so far. You can see that Clemson wants to go inside. I mean, they get screens and they go right to the basket, but they're really tough to guard in the paint. They've got some big players and they know how to attack. And for Stanford, Abuka Okori obviously has the ability to get inside the defense and go up over you at his size. He elevates.
And he's letting the game come to him. Abuka Okori, even though he's one of the best scorers in the country, Ben, averaging almost 22 points per game, it's not forced, and he's waiting for the game to come to him.
No, and he's an unselfish player. If you play him as a scorer and you put a second defender on him, he will find open players, and he's very adept at getting his teammates the basketball.
8-7, Stanford with the lead, and Abuka Okori, the freshman, who's really emerged for Kyle Smith and blown everybody away with his performance so far this year. A Stanford freshman single-game record, 36 in their upset of North Carolina, and 10th in the country at scoring at almost 22 a game.
Now, there's so many superlatives for this young man. He's done it night in and night out, and he's not far away from setting the Stanford scoring record. He has really put up some big numbers, but he's done it when his teams needed him to do it.
And he was brilliant in that game against Carolina. You look at the win they had at Virginia Tech, and when he took the game over, of the final 42 points in that game in Blacksburg against the Hokies, Abuka Okori either scored or assisted on 40 of those 42 points, and he hit a game-winning 3 with 3 seconds to go. And that is another big win for this Stanford team. As the Cardinal, again, they're under consideration. Right now, Joe Lenardi, our bracketologist at ESPN, has them on the outside looking in. They're under consideration. But what puts them in a good position is some of the terrific wins they've had already this year. 4 quad 1 wins. They beat Louisville here. They beat North Carolina. They beat St. Louis on a neutral floor. And have another opportunity tonight against number 20 Clemson here at Maple.
And they do, Roxy. They're going to have to do it, though, with one hand tied behind their back and losing Chisholm Okpara. But you know what? Kyle Smith, you can't count him out. Every time you think his team is down, they find a way to come back. But if he can get this win tonight against Clemson, he and his team, that would bode really, really well.
Second season at Stanford for Kyle Smith. They won 21 games last year, made it to the NIT. And Kyle Smith trying to build the Stanford program back up. Has them at 14-8. They were 14-4 after that win against North Carolina, but they've lost 4 straight, including a tough game here against Duke. Then they had a big lead. They blew it against Cal. Then hit the road in 2 winnable games they let slip away
against both Miami and Florida State.
Yeah, can't worry about those, but you're right. They had some opportunities, but you're only as good as your next opportunity. They have a chance tonight to play against a nationally ranked team and put them away, which will be another huge, huge signature win.
And Clemson has been so good on the road as Benny Keeler lines up a three. And a good job inside. Chase Thompson, the freshman, with the rebound. Here comes Clemson and Budda Johnson. Clemson, who's won 12 consecutive road conference games. A streak that goes back to early in the ACC round last year when they lost in Louisville. Shot clock down to 5. Nick Davidson gets inside. Absorbs contact and finishes inside and gives Clemson the lead.
Yeah, tough play. I mean, he got bumped pretty hard and laid a little leather on his own, but scored it nonetheless.
Davidson, who scores 9 points per game, coming off the bench for Brad Brownell. Here's Oscar Hilte. Abuka Okori forced way out. Brian Agarwal. Tough step back on the baseline. And a good defensive sequence by Clemson, forcing a difficult shot. The Tigers grab the rebound.
Nice job by Clemson.
Open three, Nick Davidson from downtown.
Now that puts pressure on you when you got your big guys from Clemson. They can step out and knock down shots. They try to shrink the floor defensively, but Clemson makes them pay.
Davidson, the transfer from Nevada, and the California native, has 16 family and friends that are here. Benny Keeler from well behind the line. And that's too strong, and the rebound pushing it is Justin Porter for the Tigers. Pull-up three in transition by Porter, rims out, and Oscar Hilte grabs the rebound. Here's Keeler. Shot clock down to 5. Appreciate the shout out from David Feldman and Corey Williams across the bay. We're on the farm at Maples Pavilion with Ben Braun and our ACC Network crew. Roxy Bernstein with you from Maples Pavilion. Number 20 Clemson, an early 12-8 lead on the Stanford Cardinal. Nick Davidson with 5 off the bench to lead Clemson. Ryan Agarwal, a couple of threes, has 6 of Stanford's 8. Stanford trying to snap a 4-game losing streak against number 20 Clemson. And the Tigers have won 12 consecutive road conference games. That streak on the line here in the Bay Area this week. Abuka Okori drives. Okori, the floater. And too strong in the rebound grab by Clemson and pushing Dylan Hunter. 4-on-2 attacks. Hits the trailer. Davidson to steal. Benny Keeler. He leads Stanford in steals on the year and home free for the drop-in. Abuka Okori.
How about Benny Keeler with the sleight of hand? Stepped in out of nowhere, made the steal. And Oscar Hilte on that last play, hitting the deck, giving his team another possession. Stanford's playing hard defensively, Rod.
4 for Okori. And 10th in the country in scoring at almost 22 a game. But in Johnson, a tough pull-up 3. And the rebound, Ryan Agarwal for Stanford controls it. Benny Keeler thought about the 3. Aiden Kamen gets inside and missed the leaner, and Clemson controls, and it's Dylan Hunter controlling things for Brad Brownell and the Tigers.
Had a chance to draw some contact, kind of shied away just a little bit. Good play, though, defensively by Clemson.
Dylan Hunter to the basket. High off the window by Hunter.
That's a tough shot. I mean, he had the big fella all over him, draped, and he just kissed it high off the window.
Clemson, 6 of their first 10 from the floor. And up by 4 on the Cardinals. Abuka Okori drives, and he's fouled. And the contact from Justin Porter will send Abuka Okori to the line. But Dylan Hunter getting it done, attacking the basket.
Yeah, I love Dylan Hunter, what he brings to this team. Roxy, he can really put the ball in the basket. He attacks, and he absorbs a little contact and knocks it down. No call, but we'll count the 2.
Maples Pavilion. gentlemen, a good contest of this Wednesday night game 2 of our doubleheader on ACC Network is the Clemson Tigers, the number 20 team in the country, leading Stanford 14-10. Along with Ben Braun and our ACC Network crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Clemson second place right now, just a game and a half behind Duke, atop the ACC. And for Stanford, a game tonight, Ben, look, they've lost 4 in a row. They were 14-4 after they beat Carolina. They've hit hard times. It's not a must-win because, look, regardless, they're going to play Saturday here against Georgia Tech. But it's a game Stanford really needs to get if they want to stay in the conversation for the NCAA tournament.
Well, they love this win because it's against a nationally ranked opponent, which will put them back in the tournament talk. And you can tell, as evidenced by the way they've played, Roxy, they've forced 4 turnovers against a team like Clemson that doesn't turn it over very much. So they're very much playing at a high level, and they'd love to try to get some easier baskets. But this Clemson team is a stingy team. They're good defensively. You got to create ways to score. But right now, I think Stanford's playing with an edge, and the kind of edge that you need to upset a team like Clemson.
All 12 for Stanford have come from Ibuka Okori and Ryan Agarwal, each with 6. And a 2-point lead for the Tigers. And stumbling inside, but a foul on the Cardinal as Carter Welling was hacked. And it's on Jalen Thompson. Look at the ACC standings, and you see Clemson right now. Half game up on Virginia and NC State. What a great road win for the Wolfpack at SMU last night. They were unconscious from the floor in the second half. But Duke 10-0 has that game and a half lead. There you see Stanford at logjam right below the middle point. But a win tonight can go a long way for Kyle Smith's team as Carter Welling elevates inside.
That's a challenge now for Stanford, but you're right. If they can get just another win, notch one more win against a ranked opponent, put themselves back in the tournament picture, that would be huge.
And a Stanford team that has some really good wins so far this year. They beat North Carolina here. They beat Louisville here. They beat St. Louis on a neutral floor. And a good win at Virginia Tech is Jalen Thompson with the pull-up jumper, just his 3rd made field goal of the season. Attacking quickly back the other way, and Ace Buckner will get to the line for the Tigers.
Well, good news about playing the ACC, Rocks. You get opportunities every night to get some signature wins against quality opponents. But here you can see Jalen Thompson on the pump fake and the pull-up. I mean, he has not logged a lot of minutes, but every time he's gotten in for this Stanford Cardinal team, he's played well.
And he's in a bigger role for Stanford, Jalen Thompson, because of the injury to Chisholm Okpara. And the right knee injury is the free throw knocked in by Ace Buckner. Next Wednesday night's ACC Network doubleheader features these Clemson Tigers again. They host Virginia Tech at 7 Eastern. Then Wake Forest in Atlanta to take on Damon Stoudemire's Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Catch both games on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
And Georgia Tech gave Cal a run. He just came off a tough game and actually a game where Georgia Tech led in the second half.
Cal was up big, allowing Georgia Tech to come back. Here's Thompson. Attacks. Ibuka Okori for the Cardinal. The center of attention for Clemson.
You can see Stanford trying to probe.
Thompson launching a deep 3. And that rattles out of the rebound. Secured Carter Welling for the Tigers. And just saving it is Nick Davidson for Clemson. Inside 10 to shoot. Ace Buckner. Deep 3 with a shot clock winding down. Missed by Carter Welling. And the rebound, Oscar Hilte. And here comes Jeremy Dent-Smith. Grad transfer for the Cardinal. From the elbow, in and out. And the offensive rebound and the putback, Aiden Kamen.
And they're going to have to do more of that, Roxy, because Clemson not giving Stanford a lot of easy looks. But nice job offensively, climbing the glass.
And you saw Nick Davidson limping to the bench. Not a good sign for the Tigers, considering Davidson off to a terrific start with 5 points and a valuable member for Brad Brownell. They're taking him right down the tunnel. Davidson, who's got 16 family and friends, the Southern California native. He's from Mission Viejo. Went to Powerhouse Mater Dei in Southern California. Is Welling gets his own miss. And then throws it right to Jeremy Dent-Smith. Stanford on the move. The lob, A.J. Rahosi pulls it away for the basket. Down low for Rahosi. And it's ripped right away to steal Carter Welling. Clemson running. Ace Buckner. Dallas Thomas, 3.
Yeah, great job in transition. Another good defensive possession for Clemson. Roxy, they make the floor look awfully small on this end of the floor. They cover ground. They get in the paint. They're helping. They're two guys to the ball, 1.5 to 2 men. Everywhere you look, they just really clog the defense. And they're big.
Dallas Thomas, the redshirt freshman, was highly recruited. Hasn't played all that much this year. Going inside, Aiden Cammon, +1 for the Cardinal.
Yeah, I love the aggression there of Aiden Cammon. I mean, you've got to stay aggressive against aggressive teams. And you're playing against Clemson, who really bottles you up. But I love the ability to attack right here, trying to get to the foul line and maybe get an and one.
First on Carter Welling. There you see Nick Davidson. Left ankle retaped.
He'll be back. Got that look in his eye.
Grad transfer from Nevada. As Aiden Cammon now with 5 off the bench for Stanford, as Clemson clinging to a 2-point lead. R.J. Godfrey. Here's Dylan Hunter. Drives. Godfrey spins baseline. Godfrey is denied. 1.2 on the shot clock and a Clemson ball coming out of the timeout. Tight one on the farm.
How about the block party down low? You think it's a layup? Get that out of here. Stanford closing the door.
Well, it's been a tough week around Stanford as they lost a legend. The passing on Friday of Mark Marcus, affectionately known as 9. Coached Stanford baseball for 41 years, winning back-to-back College World Series titles back in 1987 and 88. And that same year, he also coached Team USA to Olympic gold. But anyone around here knows the 3-time NCAA Coach of the Year, was a gold medal person off the field as well. Passed away at the age of 78. Just a terrible loss for the Stanford community. And wish our best to the Marcus family, the Stanford baseball family, the Stanford community on the passing of an icon. And really, not just around Stanford, but a college baseball icon, and Mark Marcus.
Yeah, somebody well-known, as you mentioned, connected obviously with David Escrow, who took over, friend of ours. I mean, it's got to be a tough loss for him and his teams, his players.
He was like a father to David Esker, played for him, was on the 87 College World Series championship team, and then succeeded his mentor. Stanford down 2, 7:35 to go first half against number 20 Clemson. Aiden Cammon. Ryan Uggerwall. And a little too fancy there, throws it away going behind the back.
Yeah.
And that's the second giveaway by the Cardinal.
Well, I thought he had a chance to pull and get another attempt up, but Clemson's on the 3-point shooters for Stanford. They're not giving him any open looks and time to get ready.
R.J. Godfrey tries to turn the corner. Spins back middle and 1. What a move by R.J. Godfrey for Clemson.
Yeah, he's a lower. Tough cover one-on-one. He's going to get into your body, and when you get into your, the player gets into your body, they can spin off of you. The help gets there a little late, Benny Gieler, but you see the strength and quickness, obviously, of Godfrey.
Second foul on Oscar Hilte. And Godfrey, a 67% foul shooter. An interesting story is Hilte heading to the bench with the 2 fouls. But Godfrey played his first 2 years at Clemson, transferred, went to Georgia last year, and came back for his senior year to play again for Brad Brownell.
Yeah, it says something right there. I mean, he really is a player that gives them some efficiency. How about 65% from the floor? That's a pretty good number. Offensive foul on
A.J. Rahosi called for the offensive foul, his first.
That's a good figure. You go back to R.J. Godfrey, Roxy, and you're scoring at 65% efficiency from the floor. You can't get your ball in the hands of your player that can give you that kind of return enough.
Justin Porter in the lane. Just did keep his back foot down. R.J. Godfrey underneath. And Godfrey, wave it off. He stepped on the end line. And a turnover on Clemson.
Yeah, great move. And he doesn't like the call. But the official, Michael Irving, right there to make the call. I mean, that's a spin. You can see his foot on the line. Amazing how good the officials are from this seat, Rex.
You didn't have that same reaction when you were across the...
No, and I had Michael Irving many times. He's a better official. I told him that in the parking lot today.
Getting inside, Abuko Corey couldn't finish. He was looking for a call and ripping the rebound down. Chase Thompson for Clemson.
Yeah, I thought there was some contact.
Jake Wallin fires. And there is Abuko Corey on the rebound for the Cardinal. Stanford under 40%. They're 7 of 18. And 2 for 7 from 3, and going up against a strong defensive club. And Clemson, as Benny Gieler missed from deep, and Godfrey called for the foul, holding Aiden Kamen, and the second on R.J. Godfrey.
And Aiden Kamen did a great job of selling that. He acted like his life was in danger. I love it. Yeah, he got his arms around him. And then Kamen just kind of lunged like hey, let me go. And got the call. Great call by the official, but Aiden Kamen, nice one.
A good sign for the Tigers. Nick Davidson back on the floor after appeared to roll his ankle earlier. Here is A.J. Rahosi. Jeremy Dent-Smith on a step-back three, and the offensive rebound, Aiden Kamen. And then Kamen, again, pulled away from contact, challenged by Chase Thompson.
Yeah, you got to go up there and be willing to get hit. Aiden did a nice job, just got to follow through. But Clemson just shrinks the floor. They're so good defensively. They make this floor look so small.
Dylan Hunter, and the drop-off, and the lay-in, Chase Thompson.
Well, if you charted this game, it's amazing how many times that Clemson has gotten into the paint and at the rim. I mean, that's their motif. They're trying to do it almost on every possession.
Largest lead for the Tigers. Stanford has been scoreless for about 3 minutes. Aiden Kamen powers his way inside.
Yeah, that's much better. Big fella took it to the basket, kicked his head up, and finished. Nice job.
Kamen averages under 5 points a game. He has 7 already.
Yeah, he's playing aggressively.
Good ball movement by the Tigers. Justin Porter left open, missed the three. Nice. And Aiden Kamen the rebound. Kamen 7 points, 4 boards. Giving Kyle Smith some really good minutes.
Clemson doing a nice job on Abuko Corey. He hasn't got loose very much, hadn't had many open looks.
Brad Brownell's determined to keep size on Okori as Ryan Agarwal missing a three. And the long rebound, Justin Porter for the Tigers. But the length, teams have used that on him, like Duke, like Notre Dame, that have caused problems and frustrated him a bit.
Well, and he's got the ability to go around them, but they close the door quickly. The help side defense by Clemson is excellent.
Five to shoot. Jake Wallin has his three blocked by Aiden Kamen. Pull down A.J. Rahosi. Here is Okori. And off balance. Good defense from Justin Porter.
They're trying to draw the foul, but Porter, their best perimeter defender, did an excellent job on Corey.
Spinning in the lane, Jake Wallin. The Utah transfer comes up empty. And another rebound grabbed by Stanford. Okori.
Three.
That's interesting because he just decided, you know what? I'm going to take you on the perimeter, a little stutter step, and I don't think that Porter was ready for that. But you better be if you're guarding Abuka Corey.
Timeout, Clemson. The Tigers are up 7. Stanford has cut it to 2.
Well, a big reason they've cut it now is that Corey's alive and well in Palo Alto. I mean, he's able to knock the shot down. But you want to talk about a player that can get on the board in a hurry. Corey sizing him up. Nope, you better get on him. 3, the hard way. Stanford trailing by 2. In the tournament, so, I mean, your players get up to play these teams. As good as they are, your players are going to give you their best shot. They want to win.
Number 20, Clemson up 2. Late first half here on the farm. Their California road trip to the Bay Area. As Nick Davidson driving and a foul whistled against Donovan Young of the Cardinal for a push.
Roxy, to your point, and I think we mentioned this earlier, Clemson has 8 different guys who've scored in this game. So if you're Stanford, you can't key on one guy. You've got to play their whole team, and they've got different guys that can hurt you. Yeah, nice play.
Carter Welling and the jump hook, and Donovan Young the rebound for the Cardinal.
Yeah, Rahosa did a nice job pushing him off the block and out on the floor. Stanford just can't get an open look. Not very few.
Donovan Young fires. Too strong on the 3. The long rebound. Here comes Justin Porter.
Well, that was an open look for Donovan Young.
Clemson's been scoreless for about 3.5 minutes. And a block is called as Donovan Young was in the restricted circle underneath the basket.
Well, he was set, Roxy, but as you mentioned, you know, Kyle Smith is asking for an explanation. His man was set. I thought Young did a great job, but was he in that circle? And you can see it. Looked like he was outside that circle from here. I mean, they want to review that. And they are. That's a good, the value of your bench now. And that video guy, Roxy.
Because Vladimir Voyal-Tidal, who made the call, pointed to the restricted area. That is what's getting challenged here by Kyle Smith.
Fair challenge.
30-second timeout. You play referee. You play video review here.
I got to go with the challenger. He looked clean to me.
So this is a Stanford challenge that is getting reviewed. The call on the floor was a block as they pointed to the restricted area, saying Donovan Young was inside the restricted circle underneath the basket. And keep an eye on the right foot of Donovan Young there for the Cardinal.
His foot's up. I mean, did he put it down is the question. If his toes on, his ball of his foot's up and his heel's not down, then they'll win this challenge. But I don't know if you can see that from this angle. And again, for our viewers, you must be able to overturn this with, definitively. You can't. Yeah, it looks like his foot's up in the air, but now it looks like it's back down.
But is it on that line?
Now it's back up again when the contact takes place, and that's what counts. When the contact takes place, then you got to call it. I thought his foot was up.
But it was over that restricted area line.
Not if he was like a ballerina. Let's see it.
Here's another look at it this way, and keep an eye on the right heel.
Yeah, I thought it was up, but that's it. Let's see.
Floor restricted area stands.
Yeah, it looks like it's up to me.
Stanford will lose their timeout.
And moving
It'll be
forward.
2 shots for Clemson.
And Kyle's not going to like this.
Unsuccessful challenge by Stanford, as after video review for the challenge for the restricted area. And again, unsuccessful means it cost Stanford a timeout, plus they have lost the ability to challenge for the rest of the game.
Well, that's a tough one, Roxy. I mean, I don't know you get any closer than that. And as we mentioned already, if you can't overwhelmingly overturn this, then it's got to stand, and that's the case.
Tomorrow night,
a women's basketball doubleheader on ACC Network. At 6 Eastern, number 25, North Carolina, hosting Clemson, followed by Florida State and Raleigh. To battle NC State, the game's a part of Play for K initiative, uniting universities and their fans in their fight against cancer. Big women's hoops doubleheader tomorrow night on ACC Network. Both free throws nailed by Justin Porter. And he has 5, and the lead is 4 for Clemson. A.J. Rahosi spinning down low. Shot clock at 5 for the Cardinal. Jeremy Dent-Smith stepping back. 3.
And he can do that. That's a big-time score at the end of the shot clock. Wow. And a nice screen to set that up.
A.J. Rahosi cleared it out.
Leveled it.
1-point game. Fourth made 3 for the Cardinal. Davidson going back door. Justin Porter missed a good look. And a foul going for the rebound as Clemson's gone about 4 minutes without a made field goal. And a foul is on Clemson going for the rebound.
Yeah, Stanford's doing a nice job. They're digging in defensively, but there's that last play. I mean, how about that for a screen? Get me a guy like Rahosi. I'll get open. I'll knock that one down.
Is new Stanford football coach Tavita Pritchard in the building?
You better hide him. I had Tony Gonzalez. I couldn't hide him. He was already on the football field. But I'll tell you, Roxy, that was quite a screen and a delivery by Jeremy Dent-Smith, who has proven he can knock down big threes.
Second foul on Carter Welling. Final minute of the half. Step back, Abuka Okori gives Stanford the lead. Their first since it was 8-7.
Second time he's done that. You give him some room, he'll get you on your heels, and he'll nail it.
12 for Okori. The average is just under 22 a game. Ace Buckner turns the corner, and the floater on the baseline from Buckner.
Yeah, nice score by Buckner, under control. Stanford, though, can play for the last shot and take a lead into the halftime if they can score or draw a foul.
15 seconds left in the half. Kyle Smith telling everybody to get out of the way. Let Okori take this.
I like those odds.
Now gives it up to Aiden Kamen on the baseline. Kamen takes us to halftime. He's got 9, and Stanford has gone in front at the break.
Yes, Mr. Abuka Okori. He's not a selfish player, Roxy. He had a last chance for a shot and didn't like it because he had 2 guys on him. Gives it up, and how about Aiden Kamen knocking that shot down to give Stanford their 2-point lead.
32-30, a strong close of the first half of the Cardinal, leading number 20, Clemson. So we go to the studio, Taylor Tannenbaum, Justin Jackson, Terrence Oglesby. Tightly contested first half at Maples Pavilion, as we pretty much expected between Stanford and number 20 Clemson. Strong close of the half as Stanford ended the first half on a 13-4 run, leading Clemson by 2 as the Tigers led by as many as 7 in the first half. With Ben Braun and our ACC Network crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Clemson's defense had them out to a lead, but then Stanford got going, and Abuka Okori normally scores for them, but then some unexpected offense from Aiden Kamen.
I thought he did a terrific job in the first half. He was aggressive, not just defensively, but offensively as well. He looked for his shot. He got to the basket. He cleaned up some rebounds. I mean, he did a really good job, but it was Abuka Okori, obviously, that did some great things, too. These 2 guys teamed up later at the end of the half. You can see them, Kamen just doing a good job of really cleaning up the glass. I mean, he was aggressive. How about that at the end of the half to give Stanford the 2-point lead going into halftime?
First half summary, Abuka Okori leading all scorers with 12. And then Stanford a strong close to the half. Clemson shot 44% in the first half, and a team that turns it over fewer than 10 times per game. They committed 6 in the first half, a little ahead of pace to a game for Brad Brownell's team. Stanford went 5 of 14 from 3 in the first half.
Clemson was 16 of their 30 coming in the paint in the first half.
And keep an eye on that stat we mentioned, 16-1, when they managed to outscore their opponents in the paint.
And 8 different scorers in the first half for Brad Brownell. Clemson has won 11 of their last 12 coming in, have won 12 consecutive conference road games against a Stanford team that has lost 4 in a row and in desperate need of a win. And it could be another big win for them if they can get it tonight. The 3 missed by Benny Keeler, last touch by A.J. Rahosi, and it belongs to Clemson. The officials may overturn this as Joe Lindsay comes running across talking to Michael Irving, and they will change the call. Now keep in mind, Stanford does not have a challenge anymore because of the unsuccessful challenge late in the first half.
Well, that was a great piece of officiating to come in and overturn that call, because that was, in my opinion, the right call. You can see it right there.
Ryan Agarwal out of the double team. Mismatch down low. Aiden Cameron, who starts the second half of the Cardinal, but Stanford a turnover, and then a foul committed by Aiden Cameron, trying to get the basketball back, his first.
Yeah, tough post entry. Aiden Cameron had 2 guys on him defensively. Both guys had a hand across. It's Clemson now picking up their defense, playing from behind.
And that's what they're known for. They're such a good defensive squad. They're connected. And that's what Brad Brownell's foundation is with this team, is being tough and physical and terrific defense and getting everybody to buy in.
Yeah, they've made it tough on Stanford. Stanford has not had many, if any, really easy looks tonight.
R.J. Godfrey has it knocked away in a steal. Abuka Okori, and Godfrey just picked up his 3rd foul.
And speaking of good defense, how about Abuka Okori? We talk about his offense, Roxy, as we should. I mean, he's had monster games, but he's always around the basketball. He's looking at this help side defense. He knows that that Clemson player is not seeing him. He's not in his vision. He steps in, makes the steal, and draws a 3rd foul.
A.J. Rahosi to the bucket, has his shot blocked. Aiden Cameron picks it up. Deep 3, Benny Keeler breaks the seal for the second half, and the first points of the night for Keeler.
Keeler with the seal, Roxy. He can do that. He can knock down shots.
The former walk-on, the senior Benny Keeler, 42% on his threes.
He's not bashful, nor should he be. He can really knock down 3-point shots from deep.
The run is 16-4 for the Cardinal back to the first half. Across the key, the running floater rolls in for Nick Davidson.
It's a great look by Nick Davidson. I mean, he was defended well, but he managed to get his shot up and over. Another point in the paint.
He leads Clemson with 7. Aiden Cameron lost it right to A.J. Rahosi. 5 to shoot for the Cardinal. Cameron fires a 3, and a good box out by Carter Welling, and Clemson controls.
Yeah, nice job getting Stanford on a short clock.
And there's a hold by Aiden Cameron, battling with Nick Davidson, the second on Cameron.
You got an opportunity to see here a good block shot, but then the kick out to Benny Keeler. You can't give him any open looks. But Davidson on the nice move to the paint gets up and over a tough defender in A.J. Rahosi. Clemson does such a good job of attacking the paint. Every possession they're looking to attack.
Justin Porter turns the corner. On the drive, the kick, Justin Porter launches. 3!
Yeah, he's pretty cool and collected. There was no panic on that possession by Clemson.
Second 3 for Porter. We're tied 3 minutes into half number 2. Here's Jeremy Dent-Smith for the Cardinal. And pass broken up. Justin Porter getting in the way.
You talk about a guy that delivers for his team. Justin Porter has made huge shots for his team, but I mean, he just gets there on the perimeter. Shot clock whittling down. He nails it. He's a good player. He plays both ends.
5 to shoot for Stanford as Ryan Agarwal's tripped, cutting in. And the foul is committed by Dylan Hunter of Clemson.
Well, I like this play against aggressive defense. The basket cut. You want to put pressure on the defense, Roxy. Basket cut. Teams have to honor you to the basket, and they couldn't get around. Nice cut by Agarwal.
And the pass intercepted. Great anticipation. Jake Wallin for Clemson.
Again, shrinking the floor, giving you a passing lane. Looks like it's open. It's not.
And stolen right back, Oscar Hilte. Big men going one-on-one. McKibben go, and the finish by Hilte.
Buka Corey with the sleight of hand. Udini, I mean, you think he's going up. The ball did not stay in his hands. He got it right back to the big fella. Easy dunk.
First points for Oscar Hilte tonight. Getting inside, and Hilte blocks the shot. Then Ryan Agarwal, and a foul is called on Dylan Hunter of Clemson. Second on Hunter.
Yeah, you want to talk about some action. How about a steal out on the floor? I mean, we talked about defense. Nice defense by the big fella. He gives it up and gets rewarded, gets it right back.
The gymnastics on ACC Network this weekend, Saturday, 6 Eastern. Number 16, Clemson, hosting number 20, Cal. Then Sunday at 4, 22nd ranked NC State, hosting in-state rival number 12, North Carolina. ACC Network is your home for gymnastics this weekend. Tight one at Maples between number 20, Clemson, and the Stanford Cardinal. Late night for East Coasters from the West Coast, and a 2-point lead for Ubuka Okori in Stanford. As the Cardinal trying to snap a 4-game slide against Brad Brownell and the Tigers. Clemson 18-4 overall. They've won 11 of their last 12. And they have been tremendous on the road. 12 consecutive road conference victories for the Tigers. Tied for the 4th longest road streak in ACC history. Donovan Young missing a 3. And Dylan Hunter grabs the rebound for the Tigers. Here is Carter Welling. On the drive to the bucket. The double pump missed by Justin Porter, and Oscar Hilte pulls it down for Stanford. On the push, the miss, Jeremy Dent-Smith with a follow on the weak side by Oscar Hilte.
He's done that all year for the Cardinal, Roxy. He's a tremendous offensive rebounder. His stats per minutes played is pretty much off the chart.
Dylan Hunter steps in, left it short, and Oscar Hilte pulls it down for the Cardinal. Ryan Agarwal, transition, missed the 3, and the rebound run down. Carter Welling for Clemson.
Well, you can say, why did he take that shot? But sometimes, Roxy, in transition, an open 3 is an open 3. And so I can live with that where your best shooter getting an open shot.
A steal of Buka Okori, picked the pocket of Dylan Hunter, and drops it in. First points of the second half for Ubuka Okori.
You must watch yourself when you're handling the basketball in front of Ubuka Okori. That's the second one. And, I mean, he's just defending. Look at Ubuka Okori and his ability to pick your pocket. I mean, you try to cross over. His hand is right in between that crossover dribble, poked it loose, and came up with the 2-point slam. He plays both ends of the floor.
Largest lead of the night for the Cardinal. And with that bucket, Ubuka Okori has tied Casey Jacobson for the 4th most points scored by a Stanford freshman.
That's saying something, because I've coached against Casey Jacobson, and he is truly one of the all-time greats at Stanford.
Shot clock rolling down on the Tigers. But Johnson from deep. Missed a good look. And the rebound, hustling for the offensive rebound. Put back RJ Godfrey and one.
That's what Clemson needed to do, Roxy. They were about to get out of there with another missed shot, but they attacked the offensive glass. Chance for a three-point play. Here's a missed shot. Long, hard rebound. Dan Smith gets pushed under, and the offensive rebound put back.
Second foul on A.J. Rahosi. R.J. Godfrey rolls the free throw in and cuts the Stanford lead in half.
Yeah, that was a short-lived lead. You can see Clemson now trying to dial up their defense again after the big three-point play.
And Benny Keeler with the errant pass.
That's the one thing you don't want to do against Clemson. They're good enough defensively. You don't want to help them out and commit turnovers. That's a big swing now for Stanford to give Clemson an opportunity to either pull within two or tie. Stanford had a 6-point lead.
Step back by Ace Buckner. Clemson has tied the game.
Well, that's confidence, Roxy. Your team's down, and you have an ability to step back and take that. That's what winning does. You just play with a winning pedigree.
And the redshirt freshman with a step back, of course, his dad, Greg, former Clemson great. Now coaching with the Bucks in the NBA, 11 years as a player in the NBA. So 6 straight for the Tigers to tie it. Aiden Cammon fouled, will get to the line first on Nick Davidson.
Yeah. Well, you go back again with Clemson, and they're playing from behind, but Ace Buckner, you know, shows you the ability just to step back, create space, and with confidence drain a shot. Aiden Cammon has really put a really nice effort on.
Don't miss the Tuesday premiere of a special edition of All Access, the ACC Life. This episode features ACC student-athletes taking part in the 4th annual ACC Unity Tour, which included visits to Montgomery and Selma, Alabama. See how the journey affected each of them this Tuesday, 9 Eastern on ACC Network.
Stanford's got
Aiden Cammon hits both free throws.
Yeah, and he's really, again, put together a nice night, giving Stanford a real big lift.
And here comes Jalen Thompson out of the pack for the Cardinal. Foul on the drive. As Jeremy Dent-Smith penetrating. Second on Justin Porter.
We've mentioned Jalen Thompson before, but just hasn't logged minutes, but he's really given his team a lift. Oscar Holte, guys that haven't played a lot of minutes.
Thompson off the inbound. Throws up a wild shot falling down, and Clemson pushing. But Johnson in transition. Chase Thompson. And Johnson is clobbered, will get to the line.
That's actually a good foul. That was going to be a sure two. Now you've got the ability to get to the basket and draw the foul, but you got to make it pay there. Can't give two.
Third on Oscar Holte. Butta Johnson, 88% foul shooter. Transfer from UAB. And it pops out for Johnson.
I didn't say he was 88. He's generally is a very good free throw shooter, one of the tops. Stanford fans getting into this one.
1 out of 2 for Johnson and a 1-point lead for the Cardinal. Corey slashes inside, left it short, and fighting for the rebound Still loose. Oscar Hielte dives. The arrow belongs to Clemson. 1-point game. Number 20 Clemson trailing on the road against the Stanford Cardinal. Well, Virginia won a national title back in 2019. Duke won a national title during that run. So did NC State. That's the company that Clemson is in right now. As the Tigers, who've won 12 straight, tied with that Virginia team for Tony Bennett that won 12 consecutive road conference games. As Clemson has won 12 in a row. The last time Clemson lost a conference road game was at Louisville, January 7th of 2025.
Now, Roxy, that's impressive. I mean, if you think about it, winning on the road is the mark of a great and/or, a special team, of a great and/or a special team, because it's hard to do. And these great teams do that, and Clemson's accomplished that.
Last year, Clemson 27 wins, but lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament to McNeese as a foul committed by Stanford. Then a couple of years ago, Brad Brownell took Clemson all the way to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and if you look at the common denominator, Roxy, a lot of it's defense. You win games on the road by playing good defense. You simply can't outshoot your opponents every night on the road. You better be able to stop them.
Hanging and one. Impressive play by Chase Thompson for Clemson.
Yeah, I think Jalen Thompson had a chance to take a charge, chose to block the shot and absorb the foul, the contact. Let's see it. There's the drive. And I think he could have stepped in. Instead went for the shot block.
First lead of the second half for the Tigers. And they had one free throw, and Chase Thompson with 5 off the bench. He had just a total of 2 points in the last 6 games for the Tigers. Clemson led by as many as 7 in the first half. Aiden Cameron thought about it. Now does fire the 3. A career-high 14 for Aiden Cameron.
That's getting the job done. I mean, he knocked that down like he belongs, and you got to have that confidence, Roxy. He's got it tonight.
He averages less than 5 points per game.
Yeah, he's teeing it up.
Chase Thompson answers for Clemson.
Well, there's these balance you talk about on Clemson. Any given player can light it up for you, and they have balance. 8 different guys on the scoreboard.
Just the 6th made 3 for Thompson on the season, and he has a new career best at 8. The freshman from Minnesota. Jeremy Dent-Smith, the floater. A.J. Rahosi in the offensive glass, and a foul committed by Carter Welling, his 3rd.
You can see here, Aiden Cameron on the step back. Just measures it, shoots it with confidence. But watch Clemson as well. I mean, they're stepping up. I mean, it doesn't matter what guys' statistics are. When they're ready to play, they can knock down shots. You have to have that belief.
A.J. Rahosi has it stripped, picked up Ryan Uggerwall. And here comes Clemson, the rebound, Carter Welling. And a block on Benny Keeler is a head of steam for Butta Johnson.
Well, that's an aggressive play offensively. Benny Keeler also moving, but wow, that's just a blow by and a lean in. I don't know. I know you're moving. I've always disagreed with that call, Roxy. I don't care if you're set. If you're moving alongside of your opponent and he leans in and initiates contact, I've always thought that should be an offensive.
My issue is always the opposite hand. And it seemed that there was an extension there from Johnson, but it didn't appear enough.
No,
for the offensive foul, and now 1-1 for Butta Johnson.
But who caused the contact? That's just my way of thinking. But nonetheless, Clemson's aggressive, and they got the ball back in transition and drew the foul. They're just doing what they need to do to get back in this game and maintain a lead now.
One more for Johnson. 2 for 3 at the line.
Clemson's a hard team to play if you're coming from behind because they don't make it easy. You really have to earn your stripes.
And now some pressure from the Tigers.
Yeah, they're extending. They're 94 feet. They're giving you all they got.
hug a wall. Too strong on the three. Ace Buckner rips it down. Here come the Tigers again. Clemson's made their last 4 shots from the field. The pump fake and a step back. The tip. Counted and one. Nick Davidson for the Tigers.
That's a big-time offensive rebound and finish. I mean, Nick Davidson gets contact and absorbs the contact and scores it. Watch this. He gets knocked back, tips it in at the same time. Huge play.
Third on Aiden Cammon. Davidson's first free throw attempt of the night, 73% on the year. 8 straight points for the Tigers. And they've matched their largest lead.
Yeah, good timeout by Kyle Smith. We're not going to wait for the TV timeout.
8-0 run for Clemson. And they're up 7 on the road.
Well, we've talked about Clemson's relentless defense, but how about their relentless offense? I mean, they've put on a show, Roxy, outscoring Stanford 23-14, and they've done it now by attacking the basket. I mean, they've gotten to the rim. They've had contact, offensive putbacks. I mean, they've kept the ball alive, and they're relentless. That's the only word I can think of to keep the ball alive, and they've done a nice job getting back in this game. They trailed by 6. They now have built a lead.
8-0 run for Clemson. And here in the second half, not only are they shooting well, but they've really suffocated Stanford. The Cardinals just 5 of 16 from the field.
Well, Stanford started out, Roxy, playing tremendous defense. They were really aggressive, giving Clemson fits, but Clemson's gotten back in this game defensively and now offensively.
Oscar Hilte down low. And the freshman with the left hand drops it in.
Guy like that, right out of a timeout, you go right inside, you establish yourself and score. Great play call by Kyle Smith coming out of the timeout.
And for Clemson, this run has been fueled by their bench. Guys like Nick Davidson, Chase Thompson, Ace Buckner. Here is Buckner with the runner. And the rebound, Jeremy Dent-Smith for the Cardinal.
You're right. That's the strength of Clemson, that their bench is their strength. They play 8 deep, and they play guys that can give you something.
Jeremy Dent-Smith launches. And the rebound. Buddy Johnson for Clemson.
A.J. Rohosi, Oscar Hilte wanted that ball back inside. He just wanted one more chance to get something to the rim.
And a steal by Jeremy Dent-Smith. Oscar Hilte, Aiden Cammon the step through. The reverse, Aiden Cammon. Almost having an out-of-body experience tonight.
I'd like to know what he had for pregame, Roxy. We saw him. I just don't know what he had, but I need some more of that. I mean, he's been on fire. Tremendous, tremendous performance by Aiden Cammon.
Career best 16 for Cammon and a 3 back the other way, Nick Davidson.
What a luxury having Nick Davidson back in this game, playing with that kind of confidence. I mean, just when he thinks Stanford's going to make a run, he just nails a 3. Calm and cool.
Aiden Cammon. Why not?
Out of body, Roxy. I don't know if I was going to agree with you. I do now. I mean, we have not seen this from Aiden Cammon at all. And as you mentioned, a 5-point-a-game scorer, and he's putting his team on the map.
He'd made 4 threes all season coming in tonight. He's got 2 in this game.
Well, he's playing with confidence.
You think?
Yeah. Confidence goes a long way.
Buddy Johnson, the drop-off. The reverse missed by Chase Thompson, but follows it up for Clemson.
Yeah, big-time plays. I mean, Clemson's not leaving it to chance. They're just really playing aggressively. They're following their own shots and creating second-chance opportunities.
Last year's Minnesota Mr. Basketball has a career best 10 off the bench for Brad Brownell.
This is a 2-possession game, Roxy. Stanford's right there. They've been hanging tough. And Luka Corey's been a little quiet lately.
Just 2 in the second half for the fantastic freshman.
Well, they're doing a good job defensively on him.
Benny Keeler left open. 3.
can't give Benny Keeler any kind of opportunity. And who was it but Hayden Cameron that's now playing point forward, finding his senior sharpshooter.
9 threes for the Cardinal.
Crowd into it now.
Buckner, the crossover step back. And the rebound, Oscar Hielte secures it for Stanford.
Now don't look now. Stanford has a chance to tie this back up or take the lead. They're battling.
Jeremy Dent-Smith weaves his way inside. Off 1 foot, we're tied.
Why not? The veteran, Division II player, knocking down big shots. Brad Brownell says, I've seen enough, and he calls a timeout to settle his team down. Yeah, you want to talk about getting back in the game? How about some team basketball now from Stanford? Taking a page out of Clemson's run. That was a dish by Cameron to Keeler, not to be outdone by Jeremy Dent-Smith, who gets it on the step back. Stanford.
Well, this was as of this morning from Joey Brackets and ESPN's resident bracketologist, Joe Lunardi. Clemson is a 7th seed. Cal earlier tonight survived a scare from Georgia Tech. They were the first team out of the field coming into today. There's Virginia Tech, who Stanford has a win against, and Virginia Tech just beat Cal recently. Jim Plunkett, the Heisman Trophy winner, here at Maples Pavilion tonight. The Super Bowl just down the road at Levi's Stadium coming up Sunday. And not to be outdone, our colleague, my broadcast partner in Major League Baseball, Jess Mendoza, the former Stanford standout, here as well at Maples tonight.
Now they smell a heck of a game going on. I mean, this has been one heck of a basketball game.
Tied with 5:20 to play.
Stanford on their own 8-2 run after Clemson went on an 8-0 run.
RJ Godfrey steps through, blocked by Oscar Hielte, but a foul will put Godfrey at the line. Fourth on Oscar Hielte.
Well, watch the feet here. That's a little bit of a slide and step. No call on the travel. And
Well, that left foot stayed down.
yeah, a little bit of a stutter. Not if you're Stanford, it didn't.
Godfrey 2 for 2 from the line. Trying to give Clemson the lead again. Next Wednesday night's ACC Network doubleheader features these Tigers again. Clemson hosting Virginia Tech, 7 Eastern. And then Wake Forest in Atlanta, taking on Damon Stoudemire's Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech will be here, by the way, on Saturday to take on Stanford, but both those games on ACC Network or the ESPN app, as Godfrey goes 1 for 2, and it's a 1-point lead for Clemson. Luka Okori forced way out. 5 to shoot, Aiden Cameron. Launches, Cameron. Pulled down, Benny Keeler missing a putback. And the rebound, Clemson, and a foul on Stanford. And the discussion, as Michael Irving talking to Joe Lindsay, Stanford, this is the rare occasion where they're asking for a shot clock violation against them, because then if they do deem it to be a shot clock violation, there's no foul.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, but you're right. If they can, you'd rather have that just to play on. But I think if it does not hit anything, looks like it did not hit anything, that then would be, did it get out of Keeler's hands in time? They'll review this, as they should. This is a crucial call. 1-point game. I mean, both teams playing hard. Stanford really hanging around.
Here's another look. And Benny Keeler had more time than he thought on this putback, as he just flipped it, thinking the shot clock was going to expire. Then Carter Welling grabs the rebound, and after the shot clock violation,
he was pushed.
Ball.
And so, no foul, shot clock violation, Clemson basketball.
Yeah, the right call. And Benny Gaylord was in a hurry and didn't draw. And so when you don't hit the iron, you're going to exhaust the shot clock. So at least it saved this foul. And now Stanford gets to go back on the defensive end without having to give up free throws.
4:40 to go, 1-point lead. The Clemson Tigers clinging to that margin here at Maples. Up the farm against the Stanford Cardinal. ACC hoops for you late on this Wednesday night.
Now, if you're Stanford, you have to defend and keep Clemson off the glass.
And a steal by Aiden Kamen took it away.
Yeah, who else? Boy, he's been active.
10th Stanford steal tonight. Jeremy Dent-Smith, short on the three, and the rebound out of the pack. Here comes Ace Buckner, attacks. Buckner to the basket. Buckner in transition.
He's hit some big baskets for his team. That's huge.
Ace Buckner racing up the floor, and Clemson up 3 at the 4-minute mark here of half number 2.
Hey, you talk about a player playing with some composure. How about a freshman, Ace Buckner? Big game on the line, and he scores it.
Clemson leading at 61-58. 4 minutes to play on the farm, Maples Pavilion, and the bench for Brad Brownell and Clemson has come through big tonight. Nick Davidson, Chase Thompson off the bench. And for the Cardinal, it's when Abuko Okori goes, so go the Cardinal.
I love those stats. They don't lie. And, you know, he's had a good game. 14 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. But that 20-point mark might be a magic mark. And if he can do that down the stretch, he'll help his team. They're going to need him to get some assists or some more points.
Oscar Hielte turns middle, and he gets the roll.
He can score in there. He's a real all-purpose player. He's long to go over the top. Nice jump hook.
1-point lead for the Tigers. With Ben Braun and our ACC network crew, Roxy Bernstein with you for Maples. Game 2 of our West Coast doubleheader for you on ACC Network. Over the top for Davidson. Stripped from the backside, but a foul.
Boy,
Jeremy Dent-Smith thought he was off to the races.
He was, but the officials stopped the race. Tough play, tough call. That's a tough one. I don't usually be critical, but
let's move on.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea, Rox. Rather than be further incriminated.
2 shots for Davidson.
What great heads-up play.
Double bonus for the Tigers. And it crawls in for Nick Davidson.
Well, that place would have lit up if you let Jeremy Dent-Smith go off to the races. I think some good things would have happened, but there's plenty of time left in this game.
Davidson leads Clemson with 14 points, missed the second. Oscar Hielte the rebound.
No, the ball
his 9th rebound.
Ball doesn't lie, we used to say.
Abuko Okori drives. He's pushed on the way to the basket. They're going to say before the shot it was on the floor, and no continuation.
Now, that new rule, we got to look at this one. The new rule says you're gathering and going up. Fouls there, push, doesn't dribble, it takes it up. A lot of referees will give you that in continuation. And Kyle Smith is pleading his case, saying, look, my player did not put the ball down and got fouled. How does he not get the continuation? Much like the NBA.
3rd on Justin Porter. Abuko Okori, a 1-and-1 as that foul put Stanford into the bonus. 1 more for Okori.
And here's the danger if you're Clemson. You've got to stop Okori because if he's not scoring on you from the perimeter, he can get to the rim and he can draw fouls.
Stanford remains perfect at the line. They're 7 for 7. We're tied. 3:08 to play.
He's active with his hands.
Ace Buckner drives. Off balance. Benny Keeler the rebound for the Cardinal. Shot clock at 10. Jeremy Dent-Smith bumped on his way to the bucket on the baseline. And he'll go to the line.
That's smart basketball. Jeremy Dent-Smith had an angle. He had an angle, got by his defender, and was able to draw the foul and sold it. That's a great job. He'll get a 1-on-1. He wanted 2.
Third on Dylan Hunter. And Dent-Smith, 85% from the line. And he missed. First miss for the Cardinal from the stripe.
That's usually a strength of Stanford's players. They've been a pretty good free throw shooting team.
Dylan Hunter drives. Step back by Hunter. In and out. And the rebound last touch by Clemson.
Well, Clemson's checking that on their bench. They may challenge this. You don't have a lot of time. And Kyle Smith saying, put the ball in play. They can't delay the game here. Come on.
Oh, and there is the challenge.
Boy, Kyle Smith is hot. He's saying, look, we gave Clemson a lot of time.
Clemson coaches challenge tie game. The ruling on the floor with Stanford ball. This is under review. The call on the floor was Stanford ball. There's 2:06 to go in a tie game. And it is challenged by Brad Brownell and Clemson. I just don't see enough to change the call.
There's another angle we have on it, which shows it, I think, even a little better.
I don't know. Look, as it was heading out, I don't think Cameron touched it again, but I can't swear to it.
Here's the other angle.
Okay.
So watch the right hand. I don't see the right hand touching the ball. I don't see it unless it's there, but I don't think it touched.
I can't definitively say if it did or did not.
And it did not seem to change direction, but referees, as we've said earlier on the previous challenges, they must have enough evidence to overwhelmingly and definitively overrule this, and I don't think there's enough.
And like the NBA rule, there's the coach's challenge now. You get 1 per game. If you're correct, you get another. Your limit is 2. You must have a timeout to be able to challenge a call.
Well, Kyle Smith was out there barking that he didn't think the challenge would even take place. And so they're talking, the officials are trying to say, look, we've given you the same luxury. I know I've been on the end of this argument. But I think if this thing doesn't get overturned, you know, Kyle Smith bleeding might have a little something to do. We'll see. They're taking their time, Roxy. This is a long one. And it's got to be, you know, again, when you take this much time, that tells me maybe they don't have enough. They want to make sure. You've got to make sure. This call can't be changed unless you've got overwhelming evidence. I don't know that there's overwhelming evidence.
And our officiating crew led by Joe Lindsay tonight with Michael Irving and Vladimir Voyard-Tadal.
That's a big call. Tied ball game going the other way. Stanford's ball, that's huge.
Again, the ruling on the floor, the initial call was Stanford basketball on the baseline.
I think if it gets overruled, it won't just be Kyle Smith making a scene at Maples. Brad Brownell, though, I think that's a good opportunity to challenge that because it's a big possession. Yet it gets
Coach's challenge by Clemson is unsuccessful. Call on the floor stands. It'll be
Stanford.
Joe Lindsay saying the challenge was unsuccessful by Clemson.
All right, play on. So Kyle Smith, I think, made a case, was heard.
That
cost Clemson a timeout and their ability to challenge. They have one timeout remaining. Stanford has a 30 and a full. On the tie-up, it belongs to Stanford. Clemson, the double bonus. The Tigers have committed 8 fouls. And Abuko Corey just lost it, diving for the loose ball, trying to get a timeout. He shovels it to an open Jeremy Dent-Smith. And the rebound, Aiden Cameron saves it right to Nick Davidson. Clemson has it. Frantic sequence underneath the basket. Inside 100 seconds in a tie game. RJ Godfrey bulldozes his way inside and draws the foul.
Well, he's given them a lift. I mean, when they've needed to get to the rim, he's gotten there. Explosive player to the rim. Sweep and drive.
4th on Aiden Cameron. Godfrey at the line, 3 for 4, 9 points tonight. He's played just 11 minutes. Got in early foul trouble in the first half. Nothing but net wraps up the night in ACC hoops. You can catch the show tonight after our game. And tomorrow at 10 Eastern after the women's doubleheader. Nothing but net on ACC Network.
You got to block out here if you're Stanford.
Godfrey misses both. And he missed everything. Abuko Okori, Aiden Cameron, and hustling for the rebound and a foul on Clemson. And it's on Godfrey, his 4th.
That's a break for Stanford because Clemson looked like they were going to secure their ball. Here's a replay. There's a shot. And the wrap around the hole. And good call by the officials on that play.
1-1 for Oscar Healte, team foul number 9 on the Tigers. Healte's first trip to the line tonight. He's 58% on the year. 8 points, 10 rebounds for Healte.
Healte averages 15 minutes, and he's active.
Tied at 62, 1:16 to play. Stanford trying to snap a 4-game slide after a 14-4 start. And they played their way to the bad side of the bubble in this recent stretch, while Clemson has won 12 consecutive conference road games back to early last season. And the Tigers have won 11 of their last 12. They're a game and a half behind Duke in sole possession of second right now in the ACC.
Now, Clemson's done a great job. This would be a huge win for Stanford and over Brad Brownell and his team, who's battling as well. Great game.
Too strong from Healte, and the rebound grab Dylan Hunter for the Tigers.
Yeah, both teams leaving some points on the table at the free throw line.
Both Aiden Cameron and Oscar Healte playing with 4 fouls. Nick Davidson inside. Step back in the key. And the rebound grab by Oscar Healte.
Now, do you use a timeout here or you let him play? Let's see if they're going to let Stanford play through. Somebody's better not to let the other team set up, Rux.
Abuko Okori splits the double team. Jeremy Dent-Smith challenged on the shot. And the loose ball diving for it. Davidson and a foul on Stanford. And Oscar Healte is fouled out. And Nick Davidson will shoot 2 at the other end.
What a sequence here. Jeremy Dent-Smith going to the basket, trying to draw contact. There he is. There was some contact. No call. scramble for the ball. Hilte underneath. Nick Davidson undercutting. Davidson, who's hustling.
Two shots for Davidson. 2 for 3 at the line tonight. 24.9 remaining. Davidson, who leads Clemson with 14 points off the bench tonight for Brad Brownell.
Yeah, has had a big game. He's hit some big threes, big shots. These are big ones.
Clemson by 1. Two-point lead for the Tigers. Stanford has timeouts if they want. And they're denying Clemson is Ibuka Okori, who now gets it. 15 seconds to go. Okori on a step back. Missed the three. And the rebound, and Buckner grabs it with 3.7 to go.
Ibuka Okori trying to hit the step back here. Here's a step back. Big shot. I think there might be some more time on that clock. I'm not sure if Stanford's going to challenge that.
3.7 remaining. And at the other end, Ace Buckner will shoot two. The redshirt freshman is a 79% foul shooter who's played very well off the bench for Clemson. And the Clemson Tigers have been in a battle with Stanford tonight. And down the stretch, Clemson has made the plays. What has stood out to you about Clemson, the way they've tried to finish?
They're a winning team, so they understand that that's their culture to make big plays. They've gotten big stops, and they've also gotten the ability to get to the basket and score. But they've gotten stops. They've done a great job on Okori because he's a tough guy to play against.
And it's been the reserves. It's been the Clemson bench that has been the difference in this game.
And they've done a great job. Nick Davidson, I think, has had a whale of a game for them. To me, he stood out among all players for Clemson. He's hit huge shots for his team. He's come up with loose balls. He's knocked down big free throws. When they look back at this game, if they hold on, they should give Nick Davidson the game ball, give him a big pat on the back. He's had a whale of a game.
16 points on 5 of 6 from the floor. He's made a couple of threes, 7 rebounds for Davidson. And he's played through rolling an ankle in the first half that had to get retaped.
I saw the look in his eyes. I said it at the time. I didn't have much else to go on, but I said he'll be back. Because he gave a look to the trainer like, hurry up, get this thing wrapped up. I got a game to play. And he has played like his life depended on it. Big free throws here.
Ace Buckner 2 for 2 at the line. 9 points off the bench for the redshirt freshman. One more for Buckner, and this could seal it. 3.7 to go. And a chance to make it a 2-possession game. And Buckner does. Timeout Clemson, 66-62 Tigers.
Well, if you're Stanford now, you've got to go the length of the floor and get a quick score. Obviously, a 2 or a 3, stopping the clock.
Clemson has 3 players in double figures tonight, all 3 coming off the bench for Brad Brownell. Nick Davidson leading the way with 16, Ace Buckner with 11, and 10, a career best for Chase Thompson tonight. And again, the ACC tournaments, according to Joe Lenardi, this was coming into today.
Clemson a 7 seed. This would be a very good road win for the Tigers. It would make it 13 consecutive road conference wins if they can finish this one off here at Maples. And for Stanford, they desperately needed a win. They have terrific wins already this year. Against Carolina, they've beaten Louisville. They beat St. Louis on a neutral floor.
Now, there's been no quit in this Stanford team. And you, again, remind our viewers, they're playing without Chisholm of par for the rest of this season. And they have not thrown the towel. They're playing awfully, awfully hard. But Clemson's shown you their ability. You mentioned their ability to win on the road, Roxy. I mean, it's unprecedented. You talked about the teams that have done that. Those are some of the best teams in the history of college basketball that were able to accomplish that.
And Stanford went cold down the stretch. Clemson's defense stepped up. They made it difficult. Stanford hasn't scored in over 3 minutes, and they're just 1 for their last 8 for the field.
And that's defense, too, by Clemson. Clemson, when the game was on the line, they made huge plays on both sides of the ball.
Kyle Smith does have a timeout if he wants it. Abuko Okori runs it up. Will go to the basket, lay it in, and that'll take us to the end of the ball game. Finger roll by Okori and a 2-point road win. Clemson, 13 straight road victories in conference play, and the Tigers overall have won 12 of their last 13. They're now 19-4. And our Hardy's player of the game, Nick Davidson, 16 to lead the Tigers, also 7 rebounds off the bench, and he was sensational. Big plays for Brad Brownell all night.
Yeah, well, nice homecoming for Nick Davidson back to his home state, Roxy. He delivered, and he played through, like you say, a rolled ankle. What a gutty performance, by Nick Davidson, the senior. You got to really tip your hat, but what an effort by Stanford. Just fell a little short, but Clemson, with their winning pedigree, shows you what they are made of.
Deflating loss for the Cardinals. Stanford has now dropped 5 straight. They fall to 3-7 in the ACC, and they're 14-9 overall. As we take a look at the updated standings in the ACC, Clemson just a game behind first place Duke, and they'll have a game at Cameron Indoor coming up later this season. And a challenging back half to the schedule for Clemson, but they're 1 game behind Duke, who's sitting alone atop the ACC, and Stanford falls to 3-7 as Clemson survives a scare at Maples, and the number 20 team in the country improves to 19-4, 66-64. They knock off the Stanford Cardinal. For my partner Ben Braun and our ACC Network crew, from Maples Pavilion, Roxy Bernstein saying so long from the Bay Area as we go to the studio, and it's time for Nothing But Net.